In Silent Spring, Ms. Carson stresses the possibility that pesticide chemicals may be working harm in man in ways as yet undetected, perhaps contributing to cancer, leukemia, genetic damage. In the absence of proof, her critics concede that these are possibilities but not probabilities, and they accuse Ms. Carson of alarmism. Yet few scientists deny that some risk may be involved. Jay McMullen asked Dr. Hartjering, staff member of the President's Science Committee, if the growth and reproduction of wildlife is adversely affected by pesticides, may man also be affected in similar ways?
The answer to this question is not easy. There is no direct relationship between wildlife and man, but there is an indirect relation, and to be prudent, we must assume that this reaction could be taking place in man, that there could be an effect on reproduction. We need to study this to determine whether, in fact, this is true or not.
It is true that some pesticide residues on food, originally thought to be safe for human ingestion, later proved to be unsafe. Commissioner Larick of the Food and Drug Administration.
We discovered, for example, that certain class of pesticides had an adverse effect on what we call chloranesterase, which is the chemical in the body that has to do with nerve impulses. And we discovered that this was an effect that was cumulative. If you had two of the chemicals of the same general class, you had perhaps more than double the harm. So we had to take that new fact into account, and we stopped allowing any more tolerances with any of those till we had figured out that relationship. But fortunately, the action was taken before I think any harm was done to the public.
The FDA also discovered, through improved means of measurement, that residues of some pesticides permitted on food crops for many years were, in fact, too toxic for human consumption. Still other pesticides were found to cause cancer in laboratory animals and were banned from further use on food. But the FDA admits that 2 pesticides presently permitted on food have caused tumors in experimental animals. At issue is whether or not any pesticide residues should be permitted on food sent to market. Here is Ms. Carson's recommendation.
For some chemicals, where small residues were permitted a few years ago, now with increasing knowledge, it has been necessary to reduce the tolerance to 0. Now, in my feeling, if that can be done for some, it can be done for all.